I mean, yeah, I would imagine so. You got to really cut them down into pieces. You can't do it like that. But we're not smoking them, right? We're not grilling them. We're just going to put them in there, but we are going to make a nice little sauce for it. We're going to broil it all up. It's going to be delicious. It's going to be wonderful. I feel like what we're doing in the oven, that's why like St. Louis ribs are the best ones to do, simply because it's cut off of the brisket and everything like that. So there's a lot more meat, a lot more like fat to meat ratio. That's going to be nice. You just wanted to add drama. I see. I see. Orange. Orange. I see. Let's go to the mountains. Go on to the mountains. How you doing, Super? Good to see you. Yeah, we're going to do some potato salad, all that kind of stuff. So you're going to want to be there for that. It can't be done. Hello, Super. Good to see you. In the meantime, today we're making the sandwich. We're going to make a little bit of a salad, something very simple. Very, very simple. I feel like
5 minutes
summertime,
until
we've talked about
4:20.
this already.
5 minutes
but
until
a lot of
4:20.
time, summer veg and summer dishes, it's just best to keep them underwhelming in the sense that, like, complexities. Where the hell? Oh, there it is. I was like, what happened? What happened to it? Please don't tell me it's gone. I can smell that bacon, though. I think it's done. I think that means the bacon's ready. 5 minutes until 4:20, South Sandwich Islands. Who's ready to celebrate 420? Anybody? Anybody? Bueller? 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 Let's check that bacon. Oh, yeah, we're good. Perfect. When it comes to bacon on my plate or on my sandwich, I don't want it too crispy. I don't want it splintery, you know? I don't want it breaking apart. What we have right here is actually perfect. It's rendered, it's chewy, it's got a little crisp to it, you know? It's good. I like it crispy. Oh, you like it crispy? I don't like that. I don't like the overly crispy because anytime I eat it, it feels like I'm getting it like stuck in my throat. Slight chewiness to me is essential. I prefer my bacon to break if I drop it on the plate. See? Some people just like it hammered. And that's fine. But I like that rendered chew. Super Spy, what's stopping you? Live your dream. Live your life. Can't swallow meat. What? No, Powdered Toast Man. Powdered Toast Man. Huh? Huh? What? What? I can swallow meat. I can do that. You said it gets stuck in your throat. Yeah, because it's a brittle shard of shit, in my opinion, when you do it like that. So yeah, it gets stuck in my throat. Things don't get, it doesn't remain in my throat. It doesn't lodge there and stay forever. Come on. Come on, Powdered Toast Man. If you're going to start being a troll in my chat, at least be one that's funny. Ah! 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 See? I can talk shit too. All these motherfuckers always come in here, talk shit to the streamer. It's fun. It's like trying to dunk somebody in a water tank. Can I speak to your troll manager? 1 second. Hold on. Can I help you? Can I help you? Willie, it was really good. If you guys haven't seen the new Spider-Man movie, it's fucking great. I really, really like it. I enjoyed it very much. The animation alone for that movie is fucking wild. It's fucking wild, man. Like, I swear, I was very impressed. The storyline is great. They did a really good job of developing the characters even more now. You know, adding new characters to the storyline. Some of them aren't necessarily new in that regard. they're Spider-Men that have been introduced to the fan base for, you know, some of those characters have been around for a minute. You know, some of them are just silly renditions of stuff that they're doing. But yeah, I loved it. Oh, we got some bacon fat. Yeah. Look at that. Oh, love it. Oh, shit. Sandwich Islands. Sandwich Islands and many more. Happy 420. Guys, do you have your bowl ready? We're ready?
Smoke weed every day.
Oh, no, that joint's toast. That joint's toast. That joint's toast. Dude, look at that, though. See, this is what I mean. Like, it's, as soon as this cools, it's going to be a little bit more crisp, but it's not going to be, like, crunchy, shattery. It's not going to be fucking, like, toffee kind of thing, you know? Hard candy status. But it'll have some chew, developed flavor. I love it. I love it. It's going to be grand and great. Grand and great. There we go. All right, so we're going to do our sandwich. Bacon in the oven is kind of like a god tier move. I'm not going to lie. I like doing it in the pan if I'm going to use the pan for something directly afterwards. But otherwise, yeah, it's kind of great in the oven. Just got to remember to set a timer. The only time I don't like bacon in the oven is when it's an electric oven. It's one of those things where I feel like it just, depending on your electric oven, there's some really good ones out there now. But like one I have in my mom's house, like when I was growing up, well, the one she has now, for God's sake, it's rough. It's fucking rough. It really is. I want it to be good, but it's just like it. Bacon that should take like 20 minutes, which is about normal if you're doing it at a low temperature. It takes double that. It takes double that. That's why it's called bacon. But it's not called that. Don't call it that. Don't call it that. That's not what it's called. All right, so here's what we're doing. We've got the bacon fat, right? It's all rendered off in there. We're going to pour that in this pan, and then we're going to sear off this in said pan. And then we're going to bring that over. We're going to hit it with some lemon juice, some breadcrumbs, and some parm. Oh, yeah. If I had it still, but I used it all last night for Jess and I for our dinner last night, maybe some fried garlic. That's some fancy-ass lettuce. It's some fancy-ass lettuce. Sounds diabolical. It is. It's absolutely diabolical. Absolutely diabolical. In fact, you know what? We're going to take it one step further. I'm going to take some of this aioli, and we're going to put it down on the plate as like the placeholder. So there's just a little bit of like a little saucy sauce at the base. Almost like you got a touch of Caesar right here. Bub's changing
Hey, let's
What
go,
is he
Phil.
going to do next?
Let's go, Phil. Using that Prime sub like a fucking genius. What's wrong with the camera? We don't like this camera? No, I know. I didn't switch it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, mods. I'm sorry. This is where, like, so BB Jess was in here earlier. Shout out BB Jess. BB Jess was in here earlier, and she's got that amazing scene changer that she can hold in her hand. That shit's fucking wild. That shit's fucking wild. Can you imagine, like, having one in the kitchen? I don't even know how that would work. I mean, we've kind of got that. That's why I got the foot pedal. So we can change shit like this. But man, that shit's wild to me. I'm always impressed by people who have a setup that can do like really interesting stuff that just enhances the experience for the community, you know, for the viewers. All right. Just gonna do that really quick and turn up the power on our fucking fan. Woo! There we go. But yeah, I've always been curious about that kind of stuff. I would really like to be able to utilize fun stuff, but like I said, I think I feel like this is kind of at its capacity. Yeah, we're searing the lettuce. Nothing too crazy though, Phil. Nothing too crazy. We're gonna sear it really hard on the front side, and then we'll take it off from there because we want it to have like kind of like that seared wiltiness, but you do it while it's really hot so you can get a better like color on it. So I'll be showing that for just a second. And just like that. Could this go longer? It probably could, honestly. But I fear that it will start to wilt more after that. You know what I mean? But from here, we can kind of do one of these. There we go. And from here, I'll just do this. Salt, pepper, lemon juice. And the lemon juice is nice because it's going to get all in those like little folds there, and it's going to give it a really nice acidity. You're basically like making a Caesar salad right here. You know what I'm saying? So we could do this now. And then transfer that over. Where is the fucking lamb sauce? Where is it? Where's my little bench scraper? Oh well. I don't know where she went. That'll teach me. That'll teach me. All right, so breadcrumbs over the top, and then I'm going to do this so we can get it all over the plate. You ready? Correct. Yeah, some pecorino romano. That's actually what it is. You're actually correct, Orange. But regardless, look at that.
Hello.
Mercy, hello. Salad. Look, y'all. Salad. Yeah, hold on. Accidentally flooded the laundry room. Oh no! Oh no! Is it a shared laundry room or is it your own personal one? And are you on the bottom floor or the second or the third or the 10th? What? Jesus. That's a real bummer. That's a real bummer for everybody involved, I'm sure. Lots of towels. Oh yeah, amongst a bunch of other things, I'm sure. Fucking mopping, gotta got buckets. If you flooded it, Jesus. All right, let's give it a try now. Like I said, there's a little aioli on the base, so we do kind of have like a little sauce on the bottom. Yup. Yup. Now, do you need a pan to do this? Not if you have a grill. If you're grilling food, for your consideration. Now, this is one of those salads that once you've grilled the lettuce, you have to have everything else already ready. Orange Willy, it is not, but this one does not need R&D, and I will post this up. I will post this up in recipes. This is one of those moments, though, where I think it's a good example of what, in my head, qualifies as a recipe and what qualifies as just, I don't know. I don't know how to explain this in a way that wouldn't make logistical sense to somebody who doesn't know a lot about cooking. Not to say that all of you don't know a lot about cooking, but I'm just trying to think in that way, you know what I'm saying? Because there are recipes, and then there's this. I feel like there was one recipe that was in this, and that was the aioli. The rest is just applying methods of cooking. Right? It was really good. Pancake. I'm not gonna lie. That was delightful. That's fucking delightful. But I mean in the sense of like a Caesar salad like recipe, yeah. It's like, but the methods that go into it and all that, it's so simple. It's just toasted panko, lemon juice, grated grana romano, a little aioli, and that's easily a recipe that I could put in there, and just like a proper sear on your lettuce. There was nothing we did to the lettuce beforehand, other than make sure it was just kind of like drier, right? You would do the same if you were doing something with chicken. So I guess in that sense, I'm always like, it's not really a recipe, and it comes together really easily and all that. But I feel like it's one of those things. If you think of some food in the mindset of recipes, you feel like you need to find something and do it. Like baking and pastry, you absolutely need to do it. With cooking, if you know how to sear something, you know how to sear something. Lettuce or chicken breast or whatever. Bought green leaf instead of romaine, couldn't tell the difference. All right. Taste-wise. Yeah, I walked out to make a lemonade before the food was finished and came back. Buzz was taking his last bite. Damn right. Damn right. That was good. Well, and it's a very small head of lettuce. Like, that's a good, like, if you were to do a lunch fine dining thing, like, and you presented that as one of the thing, like a 3-item lunch, that would be a great one.
So delicious.
Yo, wasted time. Thank you for gifting one to Mercy Me.
Where have you been all my life?
Sassy
Waste
Nerd!
2x3 gifted a tier
Camp is
1
going
sub to
well.
Mersum
We
3.
did our
They
first,
have given
like,
18 gift subs in the
I feel like
channel.
we're almost there with a final draft of our strawberry and basil spritzer. I added Grand Marnier and vodka to this, though, so it's good regardless. Wasting. One gifty. Thank you for that.